Hello. I'm going to go on a very touchy subject for myself, and this happened just recently, like yesterday, and it's very sad. It's trigger warning out there for anyone who has triggers about dogs dying. Yesterday, my dog, Muffin, she was very dirty, very disgusting, and I decided to take her for a shower. I noticed she was sitting at her water bowl, or laying by her water bowl, because there was water in there, and she was just like laying at it, and there was like water all over her mouth and everything. I was like, oh, she probably wants a shower. So I was like, since she smells, she really wants a shower. So I decided to give her a shower. And I was washing her up. It was really disgusting. And so she was disgusting, and I was like trying to get her stomach, because her stomach was like the worst part. And I called down William. I was like, William, I need your help. Just hold Muffin while I just rinse her stomach down. He's like, okay. So he got into our shower, and he was like holding her. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just wash her down. And I washed her down. And William goes, I think she's had enough. And I go, well, she's dirty. She'll be happier when she's done. It'll be over for her soon. But as I'm washing her stomach, she looked like she did had enough, and she was like all worn out, and I was like, alright. I turned off the shower, and I placed her on my mom's bed. I put a towel down, and then I put her down, and she was just laying there, and she wouldn't move. She wouldn't try to dry herself off. She was just wet, and I was like, oh, she's probably really exhausted from my brother holding her, because she was probably trying to keep herself up. And I was like, oh, understandable. So I was drying her off, and I noticed there was like a dirt spot right here in her neck, and I was like, oh, she needs to go in the shower again. I got up, and I knocked on the door because my brother went to the bathroom, and I was like, oh, Muffin needs to go in the shower for a little while. So I went back to my mom's room, and my mom's room and the bathroom was like right next to each other. And I went back to my mom's room, and she wasn't in there. And my brother was saying, Alex, someone is calling you. Pick up the phone. And it was my boss. And before then, I texted him about my play rehearsal schedules, saying that I can't work this weekend, and that my mom's schedule for like 9:30, she can't pick me up at that time that much anymore because she's like tired from work. And he was like, okay. And we're trying to like lay it out, and I just hear my younger brother, going, Muffin, and there was like this little faint crying in his voice, and I was like, what's going on? He goes, Muffin, and he was shaking her. So I went downstairs, and she was just on the floor. And I tried waking her, and I was like, Muffin, wake up. She wouldn't wake up, and I was crying, and my boss was like, is everything alright? And I said, I think my dog just died. As I was crying, he goes, do you need any help? And I didn't answer him. He goes, you need any help? I go, I think so. I don't know what to do. And he goes, your address is this. He knew my address. And I was like, yes. So I picked my dog up because I knew he was coming. And she was so flimsy in my hand. And I told Christopher to call mom's work, to get to mom, because I knew that we would not be able to get her on her cell phone. And he goes, okay, as he was crying. And there was like nose boogers going out of his nose. It was falling onto the porch. It was super disgusting. And I put Muffin on the porch, and I was holding her in my arms. She woke up again. She was like down, and then she went up, and then she went down, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's still breathing. And I tried to do CPR on her, but I don't know how to do CPR. I only saw it from TVs, so it was just pounding on her chest, but she still wouldn't wake up. And I was holding her, and her body was like dead weight, and I was just so shocked, and I was crying my eyes out on the porch. And then Christopher comes in and he goes, Muffin, Muffin. This is like, eyes are crying. And I was like, go inside, you don't need to see this to him. And he goes, he's still crying. And then that's when my boss came in, and my boss was like, do you have any, my boss actually checked the pulse of my dog. And he goes, I'm sorry to say this, but your dog is dead. She is no longer alive with you guys. And I started crying. I knew that from the beginning when I first saw her on the ground. Just hearing the words again made me so upset. And I just started crying. And he goes, do you have a towel? And I go, yeah. And he goes, do you have like a ripped up towel you can use to wrap her up in a box? And I go, yeah. And William, he's not crying, but he I think he deals with grief in a different way than me. And William gets the box and the thing, and I just found this box. Well, I get the box, he gets the towel. I went downstairs in the basement. There was this like box, and it was filled with items, and I just took it and I dumped it. And I was like, okay. So I was going upstairs while crying. My hair was still wet because I took a shower at that time. And I was like, crying profusely. And he goes, how old was she? And I go, she was like 10 years old. And he goes, well, that's 70 years in dog years. And I go, yeah. And he goes, small dogs, not small dogs. I said something like that. He goes, that's a pretty long time for a dog to live. And I was like, yeah, small dogs usually don't live for that long. I know from research. But you know what's weird? I knew this from like the whole week that this was going to happen. I was like, Muffin's not doing well. She's not in her mental state. She's like always laying down. She always is resting. She's never up and running. She hardly touches her food bowl. And she was just laying down the whole time. And I was like, oh, she's just probably really tired. But like, nothing really hits me as hard as this. When my dad left, I wasn't so sad. And I was just like, okay, I guessed it happened. I was like, he's always working. It was like I already got used to him not being there. But Muffin, I didn't get used to her not being there. I was just so shocked, and it just hits me, and I was just like so upset. Oh, I'm playing with my shoes. But yeah, I'll show you a picture of my dog. Let me move over. A little slideshow. Or it'll be covering the screen. It's not gonna be right there. It's gonna be covering the screen. But yeah, as I was holding her in my arms, her eyes were completely open too, which was really horrifying to me. And I tried to close them, it's just they wouldn't close. I don't know. We know she's getting, what's the word? Incinerated. She's getting turned to ashes. I I feel like I know the word, it's just for some reason I keep saying incarnated, but I know incarnated means for one thing turn to another thing, like being I don't know how to I know what it means. But yeah, that's a really sad story. It's one of the saddest stories that I've ever had. And yeah, bye.